Hello Driver Radio fans, Richard Rush here today with Walt McLean behind the camera, and today we're going to take a look at the 2018 Mercedes-Benz AMG C43 Coupe. So the best way I know how to say it, that's kind of a mouthful I know, but basically this is a C43 with the AMG on it, and it makes this car an absolute blast. It's the first Mercedes that we've had in a little bit, and I can say we are very, very impressed with this vehicle. With that being said, Walt, let's jump right into this car. There's a lot to talk about. So you can see from the looks, just a great looking car. It's sleek, it's intense, it just is a fantastic looking vehicle in our opinion. They do make the C43 in a sedan version as well, but I do like the coupe. I will say this starting out, it is big enough for a car seat to fit in the back on the passenger side for them, but overall fantastic. As we come along to the front, you'll notice the headlights, LEDs front and back. You'll see the grille right here, the AMG added piece to it. Again, this is going to be a little bit different looking than the C300 Coupe, which this vehicle is kind of made off of. As we come around to the side, again, just overall beautiful styling. The standard C43 is about $12,000 less, give or take, than this vehicle is itself. So just something, not necessarily a big thing to note because they're different vehicles, but you get obviously a lot more added horsepower and, in my opinion, fun with this vehicle. So as you can see here, we're going along the edge. I want to make sure I point out the correct, and I don't have the correct rim size. I want to say those are the 19-inch wheels, Walt, if I'm not mistaken. Bi-turbo 4MATIC, also known as a twin-turbo all-wheel drive. It absolutely runs fantastic, 362 horsepower, works phenomenal. Walt, I'm going to open this door for you and let you show people this beautiful interior. That's probably my favorite part, outside of the engine, of course, of this vehicle. It's got a cranberry red leather, which that's what they call it. It's a $1,600 option. The paint is an iridium silver metallic, and there's also the AMG carbon fiber trim for another $1,300, and you'll see that throughout the vehicle, which is really fantastic. It's got the Mercedes-Benz command system on it. I believe it's actually got a little bit of a bigger display on it, if I'm not mistaken, and I could certainly be. It also has a heads-up display, which works really well. You can change it to be a more racing mode, to be a more comfort mode, which is fantastic. It does have the command, the multimedia package, which gives you map updates, and as I mentioned, the 8.4-inch display. You also got the touch control down there, which if you haven't driven a Mercedes ever or in a while, it takes a little bit of getting used to. Something that is included as standard features, I mentioned the LED headlights and taillights, which are nice. Heated and power front seats, which you can find on the side. You can actually push out your kind of your leg support right here. You can move up and down the headrest. In terms of moving forward, this being a coupe, this automatically moves forward. The headrest moves down, which is a really great feature just by pulling this forward. So relatively ease of access for the back seat for this vehicle, which not a lot of other coupes have. You kind of have to maneuver and finagle around just a little bit. You've got the Burmester audio system in here. Again, that's standard, and the sunroof, which is really massive. I'm not sure if you can show people that, and we're going to show you a really cool feature here in just a second, but just a massive sunroof. So overall, really love this interior. Easy to operate, easy to change around. It's got, as part of some of the options on here, all of the adaptive features that you want: lane departure, steering and warning, cruise control, pretty much anything that you need to drive this car. You can see the carbon fiber mirrors. As we come around to the back, I'm going to point out a couple features. You've got the carbon fiber spoiler right here, which is an added option. Just it makes the car look cool. You'll notice back here there is nothing in terms of a handle to pop open the trunk. So you can either use the key fob, you can do it from the trunk, or you sit, or from the inside the cab, or you sit here, you swipe your foot, and it opens it automatically. I do have my briefcase in the back, so I apologize about that. A decent amount of trunk room. There is no spare tire because you've got some run flats on here, so they don't feel the need to put that in. But overall, enough room. You can fold down the seats if you need to. If I'm not mistaken, Walt, I believe it's a 60/40 folding seat, but again, I could be mistaken on that. It does give you the ability to fold that down, which is nice. It is an automatic trunk. That's part of the options. And Walt, we're gonna do something a little bit different. We normally don't do this. You'll notice the dual exhaust. My probably tied for my second feature in terms of the interior is the AMG Performance Exhaust System. It's $1,250, and it's essentially an active exhaust system. So depending on the mode you're in, or just by the touch of the button, you actually can get this vehicle to sound a whole lot meaner than maybe it sounded before. So real quick, I'm going to fire it up. I'm going to give you a couple revs without the exhaust turned on, then a couple with it, and you can see the difference. So bear with me. So, as you can see, and we normally don't do that for vehicles, but this vehicle, it just gives this car an extra mean piece to it. It's just fantastic. I don't know any way to say it. Last cool feature I'm going to say, and again, apologize for the longer review, and some of you are going to say, well, this is a Mercedes feature that's been here for a while, is you lock the car, and then you unlock it, and while you do that, you hold down the unlock, and in the summertime, it's going to open both windows, both side windows, and also the sunroof. So really just a cool feature. Again, for us non-normal Mercedes folk, it was just something that was cool. For those of you that are Mercedes fans, you're probably going to notice that and be a fan of it. The other thing, there is the Night Edition package, which was an optional package on 2017, 2018. I believe it's included in one of these several options on here. Gives you that black trim level, and it's really just going to kind of black the car out more so than it already is. Real quick, base price of this vehicle without any of the added options, $55,900. So that's going to give you your 362 horsepower twin turbo engine, and that's pretty much it. After you add all of the options on here, you've got about $17,000. And yes, I said that again, about $17,000 worth of options. The heads-up display, the exhaust, the advanced lighting package, the exterior carbon fiber package, the performance studio package, which has that night package that I mentioned before, the driver assistance plan, I mentioned the exhaust, the track pace app, the heads-up display, just a lot of different options that this vehicle gives you. And honestly, I can say, some of you are going to, oh, let me say this. Some of you are going to say, well, you don't need that many options, and you're probably right. If I had to choose the options that I want on this vehicle, it's going to be the AMG Performance exhaust, this beautiful red leather on the interior, and even then you could probably forego that if you don't want to. But that exhaust you have to have, in my opinion. Everything else is probably gravy. This car has got different modes on it. It's got a comfort mode, sort of an eco mode, sport, and sport plus. Some people are going to say you can't really tell the difference in modes on most cars, and even on this car. In our opinion, I had several different people ride with me in this vehicle. You can tell the difference when you go from comfort. It is a sportier car, so it's not going to feel luxurious in terms of, you know, some of the higher end vehicles. Obviously this is high end enough, but it also doesn't rock you to death. Now when you step up to Sport and Sport Plus, it gets tight, the suspension gets rigid, the steering is fun, and you can just have an absolute blast with this car. The last thing I'll say, if you ever need to go 100 in this car, not saying we did or didn't, you can do that relatively easily, and it doesn't even feel like it. So what is our opinion of it? If you're looking for a luxury coupe, sports, I guess sports coupe, this is definitely a car to consider. It's definitely going to compete with the BMWs, the Audis of the world. Super fantastic. Mercedes actually wanted to slot this car in between the C300 and the C43, so you're not having to pay $90,000 for a sports vehicle. You're only having to pay maybe, again, in this kit situation, $72,000 top end. So just something to note on this vehicle. We love it. It's absolutely fantastic. Fuel economy, not that you would care, but just for kicks and giggles, 20 and 27, average of 22. We were right able to average 23 miles per gallon. Does fit a car seat in the back. Not that you would use it for that. Overall, blast of a car. Mercedes, thank you so much for this. It really is an exceptional car and is an exceptional machine. They've done a tremendous job. If you want to learn more about this vehicle, head to your local Mercedes-Benz dealer, get in it, test drive it, and when you do that, let them know that John and Richard Rush from Drive Radio sent you.